Although we start this cycle at Swindon and Cricklade Railway, we head north out of Swindon and go and explore history in and around Cricklade. Cricklade is one of those places where I've cycled and been to many times but haven't really explored the history, so we're going to go and see what we can find. After fighting our way through traffic caused by the closure of the A419, we head on to Knowles Road. This is a road that's been shut off from most vehicular traffic, so it's a great little cycle. And this takes us to the old railway track, which is a National Cycle Network 45, which goes on through a lot of Swindon. Nearly get to the old railway track, and we stop and you can get a view up back towards the Swindon and Cricklade Railway, which is just a footpath at the moment. This is the National Cycle Network 45, and this takes us to Cricklade. It's a great place to have a break away from the traffic. Look out for some old railway features. You've got the bank which rises to the right, which used to carry the old railway track, and we also have a quick look at a bridge. There's an underpass which goes under the old railway, which is worth a look. So here we are at the end of the track. You've got an information board. This is great for giving you loads of points of interest around Cricklade. So if you want to spend a day cycling, there's loads of places to see. So at the end of the track we head left towards Cricklade Leisure Centre. So at the right turn, I want to look for Bath Road. Bath Road will take us to the church. Look out for the old tower. It is pretty impressive for a little town. I've not visited the church before, but I was quite impressed at how ornate it was, so it's well worth the visit. There's also an info board so you can learn a little bit about the place. Yeah, parts of the church date back to the 12th century. From here we head off to the high street, so it starts getting a little bit busier again. This is the main high street of Cricklade, so just keep an eye out for traffic. So we head over the roundabout, and on the way you can see the shops and pubs that Cricklade has. And on our way out you start to see some pretty nice old buildings. There's loads of places to stop in, have a break in Cricklade. Is one that's worth a look. It's their War Memorial. But this is a village that is based on the Thames. So you've got the Thames path which goes through Cricklade. I mean, I've driven through this place many times, but once you start cycling, you see much more than you did previously. I'd never even noticed this place before. But it's well worth a visit just for the info board. So we crossed over the River Thames. We're just heading up to North Meadow Nature Reserve. Another place that I've seen many times but never visited. This is a great place to visit if you're interested in World War II defences. They scattered this field up here with loads and loads of concrete blocks to stop gliders, German gliders landing. So there's lots of interesting features. It's well worth a visit, even if you're just going to stop to have a break. If you're visiting Cricklade, then if you're going for a walk, the Thames path is always worth a shout. Here's a couple of the anti-glider blocks which we found. I was a little bit disappointed with the blocks I found at Cricklade, but strangely enough, on my route home back to Swindon, there'd been a clearing of like bushes on one of the roads, and there was a load of these blocks in much better condition. So it's surprising what you see when you look. Now we're making our way to the old canal. This road takes us to an old canal which is basically being restored. The Cotswold Canal Trust and the Wilts Berks Canal Trust are restoring it. So they're working on the Thames and Severn Canal, the North Wiltshire Canal respectively. And up here, apparently this is called Latton Basin. As you can see, they've been restoring this. They've been working on it for quite a while, and currently I'm not sure how they're going to link it. There is a stream just at the bottom of this hill, but as you'll see in a little while, it's running dry. So if they do manage to restore the canal, I don't know where they're going to get the water from. So we followed the old canal path. The canal's on our right, and it's a traffic-free path, and it is overgrown in places. Yeah, so during this part of the route, you need to keep your wits about you. There are tree stumps, there is gravel. I don't know if you can see or hear in the distance, but you've got a couple of WWII aircraft from the local air base. Here we are at the end of the path. And if you carry on over the road, you've got an old roundhouse and Cerney Wick lock. The canal does continue on for a bit, but what we're doing a route to bring us back on the old railway track and back onto the National Cycle Network 45 towards Cricklade, which is where the journey ends. So most of this route, when we do travel on the roads, they are quite quiet roads. The worst one is Spine Road in the Cotswold Water Park, which we're going to cycle up in a little while, but there is a track we can use on the side of the road. But it's just generally a lovely cycle. You got a sign of the many gravel works around here which have helped create the lakes. So this cycle route incorporates an old railway track, and this is the bridge over the railway track which we'll be heading back towards Cricklade on. So we've got old railway tracks, we've got old churches, you've got the glider blocks and the old canal. So just around Cricklade itself you've got loads of lovely cycles, most of it quiet roads, and obviously you've got the old railway track, so there's no traffic on that. If you wanted a break, there is a coffee shop round here which welcomes cyclists. So we're now following Spine Road. It is quite a busy road, so it's nice to have this track, and it does continue on the path, but it is a little bit overgrown. And we took a bit of a detour to have a look at Brick Bridges, which is on the left of the road we headed up. So now we're heading back to Spine Road, and we're going to continue along the old railway track towards Cricklade. Again, this is National Cycle Network 45, and this goes all the way to Cricklade and crosses the Thames path. There's always some unexpected obstacles, and when you've got a couple of bags on your bike, it doesn't make it too easy. This is an interesting stretch of the railway track. you've got a few lovely footpaths, so if you're on a walking holiday then there's loads of paths you can take to just get out of Cricklade. But you've got a few features along here. You've got the banks which rise either left or right to the path, and you've got a number of bridges. Here you've got another sign of the gravel works. They're normally pretty big works, but you don't really see that much of them. So if you wanted to go off the National Cycle Network 45, there are a number of tracks which are bridleways, so they're perfectly fine for us to cycle. So it's great for an explore. And up ahead we've got a bridge that it's Thames Bridge. So you can tell it's the old railway bridge, but because the water's low at the moment there's not a lot to see, but you've got the Thames path and Thames. Stones Lane Bridge at the end. So this is a sign that we're getting towards the end of the railway track towards Cricklade.